Hello everybody and welcome back to another Blender tutorial. Today in Blender we're going to be creating medieval houses. We're going to be creating one specific house. First we're going to work on the exterior of the house, modeling it, texturing it, and then later we'll be doing the interior modeling as well as texturing. Both of these, all the houses we create, or the house we will create, is going to be fit for the Blender game engine. Meaning it's going to be low poly on the outside and the inside, and the outside and the inside are going to be separate scenes. This is a house I've created. It is 678 tries, very simple texture map, and it looks alright. This is another house I created. A little bit, it's supposed to be a little bit bigger at least, but shows you how good my scale is. It should be around this big, but I was working with weird scale at the time. Anyway, this is another house I've worked on, and this is another medieval one. It's got a bit more of a grungy look, and for some reason it's being a little bit weird with the normals, but it does look better when the normals are off. I guess the normal map is being a little buggy. Anyway, yeah. So for my tutorial, I've decided to use this house here. It's a tavern-looking house, and it's technically a tavern, I think, but we will be using this as a house. I'm gonna really quickly plug my wireless headphones in because they turn off if they don't plug them in, and I'm also gonna take a drink of water real quick. Okie dokie. Now we can get going. So I'm going to use that as a modeling reference. I just googled medieval house and it was one of the search results, but I'm going to go ahead and add a cube, grab it on the z-axis by 1, just so that it's a little bit easier to work with. And yeah, so I'm going to scale it x2, and then we can go back into here and maybe grab this z2. I'm gonna loop cut right in there, extrude it, grab it on the x-axis by 1, scale y2 maybe. That almost looks a little bit wide. So there we go, grab that on the y-axis by 0.5. And yeah, okay. So a couple things we can do right off the bat is delete this bottom face. We're not going to need that. We're also not going to need these top faces because it's going to be covered by a roof. And we can go ahead and grab these faces here, extrude them, grab Z2 again. Actually, you know what? We're going to grab Z 1.5, and it's going to be a little bit smaller. What we are going to do is make this the median point, just so it's a little bit more uniform. And some things I'm going to do are merge these together. So merge at center and merge at center, which is going to create a nice triangle face there. And now what we can do is create a face and select separate. Where is that? I don't know. So I'm going to separate it by selection, join the two, and that should get the same result. And I can scale it on the x-axis just so it's a little bit kind of smaller, and then go back into side view here and grab it this way, as well as grabbing it this way just a little bit to kind of cover that. And really what you want in a medieval house would be to cover the window, is what the purpose of that would be. And this can be a little bit smaller because realistically it wouldn't be that big. Now what we can do is grab these faces here, or sorry, this face here. Oh, wait, yeah. This face there and that face there, and scale Z0. Sorry if I'm saying Z. I am Canadian, and that's just the way I was taught to say it. So I don't know if that's the right way to say it, or it's just the way I was taught, so that's the way I'm going to continue to say it. So I apologize if it's different than you're used to, and it kind of bothers you, but what can you do? I'm going to grab that and scale it by -1, and we can actually probably grab that, grab Y 1.5. No, okay, never mind. I was going to say I think it's the same increment, but it's a little bit different because the size of this mesh isn't perfect. And now that we've got this nice little form of a roof started, we can actually merge some of these points to reduce vertice count. Jet center. And what I'm also going to do is from this view here, add some loop cuts and scale those on the y-axis, just enough to give it a little bit of a bend, but not enough to get rid of that face. Now looking from this view here, I'm going to add 2 more and sink these down a little bit. I guess that didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to. So I'm going to delete these faces here. And remake some of those. And we can subdivide that with 2 cuts because that's going to be in the same spot. And we are creating a couple of vertices here and a couple of extra faces, but it's going to add a little bit of extra detail, which is just going to look a little nicer. So if we grab these and sink those down a little bit, and maybe this one and sink it down a little bit more, you can see now we've created just a sunken down roof, which is going to look just a little bit better. And you can grab some of these, and it honestly just adds a little bit of randomness, and it may not be completely accurate, but medieval houses would have been built not really perfect. They would have been, I imagine, really imperfect, and probably have a lot of flaws and things like that, because it wouldn't have been about, you know, what materials you had. It would have been about just having shelter, I think. So yes, you can just scale those, mess with them to make it a little bit more random, create a little bit of extra realism. Now looking at my model here, or my image here, there's 3 windows on each side, it appears, as well as a chimney, but I'm going to go ahead and add these windows. And what I'm going to do for the windows, sorry about the hiccups, is grab these on the z-axis, scale -0.5, which is going to reduce that a little bit, make that pretty nice. Grab x -1, and that's going to be pretty good. And we can scale y. Grab this back face here and delete it, and grab this face, scale it inwards, and then scale it inwards once again. Now, depending on how big your house is, these may need to be bigger or smaller, and if it's square or not, you may have to adjust that as well. But generally, this should work, and that looks all right. We can go ahead and Shift-D, grab X2, Shift-D, grab Z2, and go ahead and delete this one. We can go ahead and grab this one. We're going to go cursor to selected with this guy here, and we can make the bounding box for this 3D cursor and rotate, Shift-D, rotate Z 90, and that didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to, but it's pretty close. Or I guess it's not. That's alright, we can turn that back to median points. Grab Y, -0.5, grab y, negative 0.5. There we go. Just center that again. And now we can go ahead and grab all of these here, all these windows here, because I'm pretty sure they're going to be the same on both sides. We can shift D, scale y, negative 1. And when you're doing this scale negative, keep in mind it is going to flip the normals, so you do need to recalculate those later, probably. If I go shade smooth, actually turned out alright. Never mind. However, you are seeing up here there is some weird things, and you can fix that just by going recalculate or control N, whichever you prefer. Anyway, we're going to go back into edit mode here and keep working on this. So, yeah, we're going to add a couple of things here. First, being the wooden planks, kind of the truss beams holding up the roof, so we can make that almost look like a 2x4, but keep in mind, you know, the wood wouldn't be perfect back in these days. It would have been kind of whatever you could grab. Also going to delete this face here because it's not going to be seen, meaning we don't need to have it. A little bit bigger than an actual 2x4, so I can sink it into the structure itself. I'm going to scale this on the y-axis. Actually going to grab that down just a little bit now. Actually, yeah, that's good. That's good for me. And I'm going to scale it on the y-axis just a little bit. And sink this in this view here, a little ways into the wall. And now we can go back here and start grabbing these more personalized or specifically, whichever word you prefer. I like personally because it's like we're getting close and personal, so they can each have their personal time. But I don't know, that's just me. Alright, as well as we can delete these faces, because that is not a face we need. And just like that, there's only 3 faces, but it's the only 3 faces that we're actually seeing. Now, looking at this image, there's also beams going up here. So we're going to add another cube and scale this, scale it down quite a bit. Probably like a little bit more. We'll make that just under 2 blender units wide. Or I guess those aren't blender units. That's a blender unit. Mini blender units, I should call it. And this actually doesn't need a face, because we're not going to be able to see that. Therefore, it doesn't need to be there. Which I say a lot, but it's true. Because a lot of people, when they're noobish with the Blender game engine, they do every face, and yours truly was one of those people when they were first starting off in the Blender game engine. Yeah, not one of my proudest moments, but it's up there. Grab those, bring them down just a little bit, just so we can't actually see it from afar, because sometimes that's how you get bleeding and weird seams and things like that. You just want to make sure those look good. Okie doke. And we can refresh that, and grab it over, scale y, -1, and bring that over there. As well as taking these 2 here, oops, and Shift D, X, and grab Z, and that looks all right. Looks pretty good, actually. And now we need to make the underlying ones, so we can Shift D this face here, rotate X 90, scale it down just a little bit, just till I can't actually see it inside from that one view anymore, and that should be good. And we can take this up on this axis here, grab it on the Y, That's going to look all right. We can Shift D, rotate Z 90, scale X, and grab that just a little bit. And you can also move those this way. And yeah, now we've created a very nice looking frame for a house. We've got all these different things there. And this is just under 400 tries. Oopsie daisies. Okay, there we go. And if you want, you could add more beams right here, but I'm not going to. Or what you could do is do a normal map. But for my sake, I don't think I actually want to. Not because of laziness, mainly because of just I don't think it's necessary. I can delete that face there and grab it on the Z-axis here. And if I press Control L, scale Y. Right now I'm making the chimney, by the way, for those of you who are curious. I didn't really specify. Sorry about that. And we're going to grab this up a little bit just for some extra stuff. And if you're looking for a cartoony look, feel free to rotate that and extrude it like that and stuff like that, just to get like a specific look. Depending on the look you're looking for, there's a lot of different things you could do. But grab that one more time. I'm going for a realistic look. So now in this photo, there seems to be a little lip on the chimney here, which I don't think would actually be there. Mainly for the reason that the bricks wouldn't hold. You'd need really small rocks, which just doesn't seem practical to me. Anyway, it's there, so we'll add it. We'll do that, and then we can extrude that, scale it inwards, and if you want, delete the face, and then what I like to do is extrude downwards. And like that. And now, I know what you're thinking about, but you said you don't have to do faces like that. Yes, I'm aware of that. However, if you want to do smoke particle stuff, or not particles, but I guess like having smoke come out of here with like planes with a smoke texture on them, which I will show you how to do eventually, then this is going to be very useful for multiple things. You could separate this face here and have it as a point where it will actually come out of, and you can also use that to hide light. If you're having a light in there, sometimes light goes through objects, and trust me, it's useful. You don't have to have it if you do not want it, but I'm going to put it there, and that's that. One more thing I am going to do, though, is grab this guy again, and grab it on the y-axis, or on the z-axis, and scale it on the y like so. And grab these, scale x -1, and grab it and bring it over like so. And yeah, now we've created just a little bit more realism. It just helps with that look that we've been going for. But yeah, okay. So now we are at 20 minutes. So it only took us 20 minutes to do this little house, but I have forgotten one step, which is kind of crucial, and that's the door. So after I finish this door, we're going to call this episode done, and we will do another episode because I'll record it on the second track, because doing multiple episodes or doing one big episode, takes a long time to upload. So I'm going to create a door right here, and first I'm going to do it over here so that I can make it look good. I could delete. I don't think I just did anything there. Delete these faces here, and of course grab this face, scale it. Whoops. Extrude, scale it inwards. Scale it on the z-axis. Sorry, I have to yawn sometimes. I'm only human. Scale it Z0, and what you can do if you want is scale that Z0 and Shift S, snap to grid, selection to grid. Or you can go hold Control, and it'll snap. Either way, it's up to you. And I'm going to grab these, sorry, and bring them back up there. And then finally, sink that inwards and delete this edge here. Oops. Edges, because getting a lot of overlap there. And we can do this and bring that back on the Z-axis. I'm not actually sure which one's the door and which one's that anymore, but there we go. Now I've got a little door, and according to this image, or sorry, this reference image, there's also another window here, but I'm not going to put that window for sake of I want to have a staircase here when we do the inside. That's where I'm going to put my staircase. Because if you actually look at this, this is a really weird design. There wouldn't be any space for a staircase. 1 second, you guys. Sorry about that, guys. You know, family stuff. My dad wants me to do some dishes. I must rebel. No. So yeah, perfect timing though, because we are just about to wrap up this tutorial. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please feel free to leave a like. If you didn't like it, please leave some constructive criticism or give it a dislike. If you have recommendations or tips or anything like that to improve this, or if you just want to know how to make a specific, how to do something specifically in Blender, just leave it in the comment section below, and hopefully I'll get to it within the next couple of weeks. I can get a tutorial for you. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Have a good day. Bye bye.